say put this light off. Now no need of this light. So dear gentlemen, this is again back to you on this day. This is September 2 and good morning. This is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India with second video of this day, September 2, 2020. In first one, I talked about something, and in this one, I'm going to discuss with you, which I missed a lot for maybe more than a week. And this is sharing document. This is a screen share with two documents. One is soil report, and other one is contracts. You can say we discussed it as turnkey projects, and that means this is a file from FedEx regarding contracts issues, just for dissemination information, I'm not using it commercially. And this is where means we have to discuss together. This is silver book regarding contracts, and then the other one, that is report from laboratory, soil investigation laboratory, that is geotechnical investigation we call it. We discussed this a lot before, and I can say we discussed a lot before, and now also it's being discussed with a view that why it's not coming in, what's probably there. It's there, so it's okay. And other one is there, and this is there, and also this one here and this one here, both are there. You may say this is FedEx, this is contracts, and this is soil. Both are here. So let's come on down. I discussed about soil last time, and very well we discussed that one. This is not ridiculous, means something we did strongly in a way we should do. Professionally, I talked of that, and before that I talked of something like, before this video, there was videos talked of reasonably about management, organization of engineering, or some quality and soil consolidation, etc. In this, I just disconnected many days back. I started contracts, I started soil. Let's begin with soil, and some part of soil we have about you can say 2 hours in this case. So one sometime to this and sometime to that. We can do it in this way. We hope that we get something here that's nice, that's useful. And if I take it like this, please don't disturb. Why are you disturbing? Disturb होते हैं आपकी good morning से. Really, it's no time for this. I can't do. I'm doing something specific. It disturbs. They just send messages for no use. These messages are no use actually, but they keep on sending. If you see, this is table of contents like this. It moves in, and actually it moves in. I can say like this. It's a page. General concepts such as suitable foundations. It's also that. That's that. Yes. So I say this is now. This is for. You can say. This is soil report, and in this index is. I'll show you index again to remind means, because others are not important. If you see this introduction, this index, a table of contents, you will know from that what I'm talking of. This table of contents, and this reads like this, table of contents it is, and this is, say purpose of study is, introduction is there, means what's purpose of study, what scope of work, project description, site description, prevailing conditions, general geology of that area involved in, and field exploration and testing, then drilling the sampling from boreholes and field testing in boreholes, then excavation of trial pits and sampling from trial pits, field testing of trial pits and field density tests, and soil electrical resistivity testing, and field soil thermal resistivity testing, laboratory testing and then laboratory tests and codes, then surface and subsurface conditions, ground materials, material physical, mechanical and thermal properties, materials chemical properties, sulfate contents, chloride content, other chemical contents, oil and grease hydrocarbons, pH value, then groundwater and cavities, then general discussion for choice of suitable foundations, footings on sand, general considerations of settlement, consideration of bearing capacity, choice of types of foundations, then conclusions and recommendations, foundation depth and type, tank foundations and hydrostatic testing, allowable bearing pressure, foundation settlement, soil design parameters, foundation subject to vibrations, general conditions in designing dynamic basis, and subgrade evaluation and pavement consideration, then objectives, methods of analysis, subgrade properties, recommended types of pavements, general considerations, earth pressure parameters, site preparation, clearing and grading, cut and fill, site slopes, protection and monitoring. And then earth dikes and beams, drainage, dewatering, excavation method and excavatability, excavation site slopes and or lateral support system, and then backfilling material and compaction criteria, structural fill and general fill, and borrow sources, soil resistivity and corrosivity, foundation concrete, tectonic of southeast region of Arabian Peninsula, seismicity and earthquake area of southeast region of Arabian Peninsula, ground shaking and free field ground acceleration, liquefaction, densification, collapse potential, swelling and short shrinking potential, inspection during foundation extraction. Then there is a list of figures are there, means major faults in SC regions of Arabian Peninsula, seismicity effect of SC region of Arabian earthquake area of region of Arabian Peninsula, and average value of maximum accelerations in rock. Then list of tables are there which existing ground level, plant coordinates, UTM coordinates and depth for boreholes, existing ground level, plant coordinates, UTM coordinates and excavated depth of trial pits, proposed foundation level, foundation type and allowable bearing pressure, representative compression waves and shear wave velocities, summary of CBR and modified Proctor, earth pressure and soil parameters, soil corrosivity versus resistivity. And then there's location of boreholes and trial pits, then logs of borehole and trial pits, legend to logs of boreholes and trial pits, logs of boreholes and logs of trial pits, generalized subsurface profiles, and field test results, field density test results, soil electrical resistivity test results, and soil thermal resistivity test results, standard penetration test results, and laboratory test results, grading curve at Tabbox limit and soil classification, moisture content test results, then moisture density relationship test results and CVR test results, laboratory permeability test results, laboratory thermal resistivity test results, oil and grease test results, chemical test results for soil and groundwater. Then introduction now is introduction, so we'll just move. I've already done this introduction. I've showed purpose of study done, the scope of work done, then in soil samples whatever was required. I'll repeat this because it is done, though it's better if the technical comes of the purpose of testing. So I just remind you, we have talked about this, and that's particle size analysis, materials passing number 200 C, moisture content, Etherbox limits, modified Proctor, California bearing ratio, laboratory thermal resistivity, permeability, Chemical analysis including determination of chlorides content, sulfide content, pH, calcium carbonate, and HSA. So these are main, and then we can say in groundwater chemical analysis, including determination of chloride content, sulfate content, pH, and magnesium, oil and grease, and petroleum hydrocarbons. We have that one. I'll blow you a little so that it's more than. Then you can say in groundwater this is then it is chemical and the performing engineering analysis of field and laboratory findings, developing conclusions and recommend for design reporting. That was that one. So come back on this, and you may say there is then you can say project description, no need of this. So now this is in description, new processing facility include the inclusions are important: gas treating and molecular seal dehydration, NGL recovery, and acid base completion. Then site description is there, and then various things are what are that, part 1, part 2, part 3. We already discussed the privilege of prevailing weather conditions already told, and then geological area. And then there is field exploration, and there is the ground levels for boreholes. This goes like that. We discussed all this in last one. This is ground levels of plant coordinates, excavated bed of trial pits, sampling from trial pits, and all that we have done. And we have done field soil thermal resistivity tests, and of course laboratory testing, moisture content, grain size, minus those, all we have talked about this, and codes which are used means, and then surface and subsurface conditions. This is from report. pH value, all that means very elementary. We have done that. General discussion for choice of suitable foundations. So we go to the level where in capacity for shallow foundation. All we have done, so we will move forward. This is, we talked about this table also. This is table, I think, I thought this not allowed to be very pressure. We talked this really. We have to move to our study now, and it should be representative compression wave and shear waves. I think we have talked this. But I think this is better. Foundation subject to vibrations, and we have to stay here. I think we have to stay here. Representative compression values and shear values. I think it's better to stay here. I'll start from this boreholes we have taken or no. I think we did not take boreholes. That's also important. Let's try. Foundation design that we will number this. Soil design parameters. Okay, let's start here. Just for revision, and we see how it works. We are advising at this point put on the fan. It's switched off for long. Can you put it again? It's hot. Allowable bearing pressure for shallow foundation. Just a refresher again. Allowable bearing pressure was determined for foundation ground as specified above, using practical experience and results obtained from field standard penetration tests and empirical equations developed by Terzaghi and Pack, Mayoff and modified by Bowles, and taking into consideration a safety factor of 3 against shear failure of soil. Accordingly, net allowable bearing pressure values recommended to be used for design of footings with different widths and at different depths based on 25 mm as settlement are present in table number 3. Foundation settlement. Foundation settlement was checked using recommended allowable bearing pressure values present in table 3 and obtained N values from standard penetration test and found to be less than tolerable limit of 25 mm for isolated oblique stiff footings and less than 50 mm for wrapped foundations. Most of settlement will take place during construction period. Soil design parameter. Soil design parameter like dynamic modulus of elasticity and dynamic shear modulus are estimated from empirical equation and practical experience using laboratory and field test results and are presented in table 3. For design purposes, Poisson's ratio mu of 0.33 is recommended to be used for cohesionless soil VNS. Okay, now representative values of shear wave and compression wave velocities are presented in table 4. Let's see this. Let me first of all rotate this so that we can know what is the actual noise on the way. So let's go this way. This is this pointer. I'm not finding this pointer. This is table number 3, allowable bearing pressure for different areas at different depths and for different widths. Here you will find BH number, foundation depth, meter, design SPD value, subgrade material, net allowable bearing cap pressure, net allowable bearing pressure kilogram per centimeter square for footing width. That's 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter raft size, or you can say modulus of subgrade reaction, that's KS kilogram per centimeter square. So in this case, I can say, if you take this, again I read this. This is BH number, foundation depth, then design SPT value, subgrade material, and net allowed bearing pressure parameters are at 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter raft size, mass of subgrade. In this case, modulus subgrade, here, and this is program per centimeter cube, and modulus of elasticity also E, that is. So subgrade case is the shear modulus, that is static dynamic. So we have to see one by one this. Think of this, what you're doing is, soil investigation is easy, and if you go through this in concentration, it will be very, very easy to comprehend that. So I can take some. Sit down. Some idea. This table gives borehole number 1, for example. It says foundation depth at 1 to 1.5 to 3, 4, and design SPT value is 15 for 1.52, so 20, and 3 is 40, 4 is 45, and you can say that it's that one, These people are for nothing disturbing. I can't disturb these documents from them. I can't say, I can't like them like this. These foolish people don't understand that I'm doing something recently. I can't call you. I can't just call you. Hell with this man. So 1 meter, 1.5 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter is this. And we have, but understand that this design SPT says 15 for 1 meter, 1.5 and 2 is 2, 20, 3 is 40 and 4 is 45. What does it mean? When subgrade material is sand with silt, that is the sand with silt. Sand and silt, but at first meter it's very low, 15. Means it's not very good, and 1.52 is 20 only, and it's not very high, so you can say depth is double and it's only 5 increase. So you can say, you can imagine itself, means what sort of material is this? And if you go to 3 meter, then it's double, means at 3 meters 5 means it's giving you 40, while at 2 up to 2 it's not giving. So it's good one starts at 3 and 4, it's okay, there's an increase of only small, so only 2 meters to 3 meters is better one, you can say. Better one, and 4 meters is expensive, it's body, but it's only increase of 5. So this is what it says. What we understand by that? The subgrade material is silt and sand. So first 2 meters are not very reliable. And then 3 is okay, or 4, because we cannot go 4 down so much. So we have to take care of this, and this. And then you say footing depth is saying 1.2, for that one is footing width. And say 1.6 meter at 1 meter and 3.2. Not net allowing bearing pressure for footing width, this is bearing pressure. So in this case it's only 1.2 for where SPT is 15, means we don't allow more than 1.2 kilogram per centimeter square. This means it's not more than, you can say, this is 1.2 kilogram per centimeter square is, this is, meter square is 1 kilogram, then 10,000 kilogram. 10,000 means kilogram means 10 tons, and so this is 12 tons per square meter, let's say. And so 1.2. This means only 12 tons. This means allowable bearing depth is this. allowing ring capture means not said by ring capture is. So there is a relation of stuff in there. So maybe we can't work here, then we have to go 1.5, which also not very much from my point of view. But 3.2 is fine, that's at depth 3. And 3.6 is also okay, means no problem. And when you go to 2 meters, in second meter, this is in 1 meter case. In 1 meter, first meter it's saying this is that, 1 meter, what is 1 meter? Footing width. Not allowable bearing this for footing width. What does it mean? So 1 meter is 1.2 of size. Net allowable bench pressure kilogram per centimeter square for footing width. Footing width is 1 meter, it's 2 meter, it's 3 meters, it's raft size. This means for these widths. If it is small, it's 1.2, that's small. And here at this shaft, it's 1 meter width, it's 1.6 you can take, and the size of this, so 3.6, you can take this much. So 3.2 and 3.6 are reasonable. Well, 2 meters still is not very good, but it's saying 1 is 3 tons here. 2 meters. Why it's going down in 3 tons? Sand or surface and sand or salt means wider left, wider footing means reduced, you can say. It's reduced 1 look, and you go to 3 meters, then it's a further reduction on that. You go to raft size, then it's increased 1 because of raft. It's not increasing 1. It's about, if compared to 1 meter and raft, then you should compare to 3 meters because of raft and this little scope and 3 meters. This means wider width of footing means lesser bearing capacity. Raft is increased because this is much higher, and raft is increased. In case of individual footings, lesser width means more bearing capacity. Means in 1 meter difference, if you find there's 20% decrease there, and also if this is also same approximately in between. I cannot exactly say, but okay, we understand now. Means if you take difference between 2 meters and 3 meters, it's very nominal. Well, not much. It's difference. They'll say about 10%. about 10%, not exactly 10%. So 3 minus 3, 0.2.7, then 1.7, 1.7. So when you say raft is concerned, so 1 meter and 3 meters, we find differences plenty. So as size increases, bearing capacity decreases. Percentage wise, let us say in 1 meter it was 3.2, in 2 meters 2.6 it is. So there's a reduction and further reduction, but in raft we increase. So that's uh, a modulus of subdirection. Modulus of subdirection. In that case, this is kilogram per centimeter square, and this is 0.9, 1.2 subdirection. Modulus of direction, that is this one. And then modulus elasticity, static, dynamic, both. These are we have. Dynamic modulus elasticity is more than, let's say, and static dynamic are related, and that's a difference. Percentage wise you can check that. Must say how they calculate, I don't, but you can relate them with this. That's an important point. And shear modulus J, which is static and dynamic, let's maybe check on that. What is that? Just a minute. I use my calculator for this so that we understand what actually we are talking. It's an analytical study, I have to say that. It says, let us say 406 divided by 711 this is equal to 57%. 57% here. And let's say now 449 divided by 786, this equals to 57%. And let's say then 553 divided by 968 is also 57%. Let's say divide last one, 510 divided by 893 is also 57%. This means there's a 50 dynamic. This is 57%, or you can say how much more it is. I can say that other way. Let's say 711 the minus 406, this is equal to 305 divided by 406, so 70.75 higher. This means 75% higher. This means modulus of elasticity value is 75% higher than static one in dynamic case. This means is that, so 75% increase when it is dynamic in relation to static. Value of static is that one. This is interesting to understand where do we stand. Let's say other one, let's say modulus of subgrid reaction is there in relation to this one. This is modulus. Now say 406 is static. This means let's say 0.9. How many percent is saying 0.9? 1.2, 0.9, 0.9 divided by 406. This is 2.22%. 0.22%. So this, let us say 1.25. 0.02%. So model of that's the other one, that is the other one. 4 going by 2.4, 1.66. So this is another relation. We cannot relate modulus of rate to modulus losses rate. Now that's one thing. Now let's say if raft we are saying this is in 9 to 150, 1.5, or you can say 1.2 to 1.5, 1.6 to 2, then 4, 12, 13, okay, 1.5, 3.3 to 4, 8, 40. So this is also I think regular raft size, and that size looks regular. Let's say 1.5, 1.2, this is 1.5, 25%, and in that case 1.602. Wait a minute, 25 is what? I made a mistake, I think. Hold on. 1.2, I made 1.2. 1.2 divided by 1.5. 0.8. Yes. 80% of that, so 80% of this, and this means it says that there's a relation of 80% in this case of 1 meter, and there's a relation of 50% in case of that, and there's a relation of, you can say, about 1 to 2/3. Means 50%, 25% in case of 25% in case of relation to 1 meter worth to raft size, and that is 50%, that is 25%, 50%, maybe 75% in this case, 75% possibly. It's 0.9, 1 2/3 it is, 2/3 means 28, yes. So in 2/3, this is up to, this means there is a relation, if it's 1.1 meter width, then 25% up to raft size, relation to raft size. And there's a relation between 1 meter and 2 meter, and that is 1 meter, 1.2 meter. Okay, we establish a relation that if you take 1 meter width of footing and draft size, there's a relation of 25% increase in draft size bearing capacity. If you take 2 meter relation, say there's an increase of 50% increase in bearing capacity draft size, and in 3 there's an increase of 1/3, 2/3 in there's an increase of 2/3 in draft size bearing capacity. This is common. We can take 2 goes to 1.7. 2 goes to 2.5, it's 25% and one side. So it's the relation come here, you may say. So we establish a relation between these two also, that is static and dynamic. We have got relationship, and that relation, I think 57% is, I remember it's not very for that. 57% it was, so we have to understand this also very simply. 406 and 1111, or you can say 7111 minus 406 equal to this, and this is divided by 406. No, something wrong with something like that. 711 minus 711 divided by 406. 75%. Okay. Now this relationship is there. This way dynamic grading is dynamic. We can say modulus of velocity, that is dynamic one. It is 75% more than static one. This is a relation, right? Modulus velocity in the case of dynamic analysis, in terms of dynamic testing, it gives you increase of grading velocity in relation to 75% than static one. Then shear modulus G is kilogram per meter. Static and dynamic, the something is also same. I think shear modulus, let's say how many percent difference it is. This what means the study is required. You cannot just run away leaving this 267 and divided by 153. 70, so almost same, 75%. So you can say it seems that this also is shear modulus relation, means also this is 75% more than static one. Shear modulus, let's see one more try, 130 to 27, 130 and 277. Oh yeah. 130 and 247. So this is 55%. 55%. Let's take other one. We'll show what we are saying. This is 364. 192. 75%. It's 75%. Why this which is set as 136? Also to be same. So 75%. So both are, you can say, static and dynamic. Dynamic 75% higher than that one. This is what we studied in this. Then this was one case when, take example of sand. That is only sand in case is much lower value, and that one is the same depth and there is reduction. There is a reduction of about 25%. Yes, there is a reduction of 25%. I think this one from uppercase. Similarly, all shall be affected accordingly, and these are affected here. I come to case of sand again, same thing, a little different I had than before. It's better in one than with 3 is also better and it's improving. So when it improves here, so this means we understand this point. If let's say this case number 2, we say that there is increase here, no, there is a decrease here, so there should be decrease here, there is a decrease here, there is an increase in another case, if I want. That's what is required. So we have to understand this point very well. Similarly, it's going in second case with sand, and you find that one here. So there's a difference in that. This what is there. Let me see. Now if you see, let's go further and see understand, which is much better than previous one, and you will find increase here, and in this increase, and so is increase here. So this is visible. 449 is same, 550 is 571. These are same. Why are the same? And why does it change here? Because 10 is 20, so 1 is 10.8 is 21.6. So it is same here. Does it change? Of course, does it change? Okay, now we go to other one. Another one is the same, but it's also the same. 15, 20. Stop share concept. जॉब भी देना पड़ता है, ये भी प्रॉब्लम है, इश्यूज में आ रहे हैं और जॉब भी करो, यही बात है ना। Well, let me continue, means they will continue like this and I can't have time for that. Sorry gentlemen, don't send, please don't send. So what we understand is we are establishing certain relations in this and in that. And let's go further. There's a note also here, and it says net allowable bearing pressure. And that's it. Net allowable bearing pressure. Value of 1.5 kilogram per centimeter square for design of isolated footings. I can't use this, it's difficult to use this. I put something here also, but actually I made a mistake. Should have gone there. I should have gone there. Wow, if I go there now, what's happening? I can disturb, you can disturb, then putting on wrong footing in this case. Let us say a net allowable bearing pressure value of 1.5 kilogram per centimeter square for design of isolated footing for stiff footing, and value of 2.5 kilogram per centimeter for design of right footing on thick engineered fill 1.5 above are recommended. Net allowable bearing pressure of 1 kilogram per centimeter square. Net allowable bearing pressure of 1.5 kilogram per centimeter for design of isolated footings, that's comfortable 15 tons per square meter and 25 tons per square centimeter, 25 tons for design of rad foundation. This is quite big, It's quite good. This is what net allowable bearing, safe bearing. I think it should be safe. There's some 25 is too high, and 15 is high, means 15. It can't be 15, something wrong. 1.5 means 15 tons. Well, say tolerable total settlement of for isolated stiff footing is 225 mm, and for raft is 50 mm. Modulus of separate reaction was calculated considering 25 mm settlement test for modulus of wavelength. Factor of safety 3. This was factor of safety 3. Should be applied or always included. Above net allowable bearing pressures may be increased by 30% for transient loads such as wind, seismic or short term. So that is beneficial here. and go to bottle number 5, 6. Bottle number 5, 6, you will see I said reduce this at least. So bottle number 5 and 6, you can say, think of with this, say point number 1, it's 21.5 and 2, and this 3 and 4 are 25 and 50, SPT and 54 is better than as sand is there, and this is for 1.6, and it's okay 4. Yes, so sand is there and sand is there and sand is there, all sand here. So in first case bottom of 5 is 20, so that's okay, 25, 40. In sixth case it's 10 is not okay, and bottom of 7 also. Means I can say in beer number 6 itself is approximately, except that at 1 meter it's little less. 5, so 1 and 5, so 2 meters better, and 3 meters is more better. At 4 meters is okay, so it will affect all that. And board number 7, this is okay, fine. But down is not very good when we see this. So varying results are coming in, not exactly the thought of. So these are, you say these reactions, the modulus of reactions and modulus elasticity, as well as shear modulus, steeping and dynamic. Same formula applies here, and you find that this is what we are studying about boreholes. The notes are same, it's not different. Now, this is borrow 9, this is 1, 1, and this 20, 25. So it's okay, fine, we can say comparatively, and also this is fine also, but less than the one 9 and 11. Yes, 11 is almost number 8. Now, let's consider something else. That will be a question first. See, can we do? So this is soil means interesting in one way. Understand coefficients and these parameters. This is interesting study. Of course, it should be done. It takes some time, but we get comprehensions. How soil behaves at this point. That's very important. And this, I think, this report is having some material in this. That's where it lies. Importance or metals there. We have to understand values. Though it's very old report, yet its understanding is not a problem. It's good understanding, we make it. My God, you're क्यों भेजे जा रहे हो यार, बाद में कर रहे सब, ये मानते नहीं लोग यार, मानते नहीं लोग, क्या करूँ मैं बताओ। अनुराधा कुमार, मैं क्या करूँगा यार, ये मानेंगे नहीं, भेजे जा रहे हैं, नहीं मानते यार। थैंक्स थैंक्स लगा पागल नाराज जाते हैं यार। चलो भाई चलो, हटो यहाँ से यार। थैंक्स थैंक्स थैंक्स। Now we back on this. So let's see other cases, because other formula looks the same as we discussed, 75% increase, 57% increase, and what happened there same. So if you go to see other one, let's say 13 number is okay, fine, and 14 little less fine. Engineered fill is this now question. Engineered fill, let's see, it must be stronger engineered fill than sand in one portion of engineered fill. So when there was no, it just it did not take, did not take the one design SPD value because it's engineered fill. So this is you have to means this means there's no need because it's not available. So what to do? And there's nothing engineered fill. So sand is there in the 20, 35, and 35 is not very strong, not very strong. 16 also, sand silt it is, so not very strong. Not very strong. Okay, then we go to, let us say, other notes are same. If we go to 17 is little weak, it's not that strong. 18 is little, that's the engineered fill, but it's not very much important. Then we take 18, little better, 19 also not, yes, better than others. 1, 2. I should shift now. 7:14. I should shift, yes. 7:14 it is now. Not much time. Okay, I'll shift to go to that one. Okay. After going to this demo, I'll shift to. You can see this 24 is fine. This is reliable, and yes, 33 is also fine. Not that much, but BDH22 is better at 4 and 3. So you can say now 25. Okay, means okay, 26 normal means 52 is fine. 52 is fine. So these are fine, others are normal. So this applies to every way. Now I put this down and I'll change again. I give and rotate. Sorry, again very long. This happens now. So foundations subject to vibrations, and we'll see this. And also VS is going to find force, you're going to say compression where shear loss is. Now before going to LB, let me jump to now the contracts, I just back to contracts, because contracts are also very very significant, and we discussed log typical sequence of principal events we discussed before. I'm not going to discuss that just for purpose of showing now. We jumped onto, there are various pages on this which we discussed a lot. We discussed a lot before, and the various pages. So I can say. Now, contracts, these are payment issues and other issues, and there are, their contents and various areas. I think we were somewhere on designs part. This are here vertical general provisions, employers, admission, contractors, and designs and stuff. Labor. So plans, matters and workmanship, commencement delays, and that test and completion, employers taking over defects after taking over, test and completion, variations, adjustments, contract price and payment, and you can say termination, employer, suspension, termination by contractor, care for works and benefits, exceptional events, insurance, employers, and contract claims. So contest disputes in arbitration. Now we had gone to some pages. I'll just jump onto that rather than sitting here and there. Why wasting time? So it is inspection. It's not this one. Actually, furthermore, is that much? No. Testing my contract. No, it's not that. No. I think it was. So it is, I think I've gone far away. I should stop here. Come on, yeah, what? General designs we had done, then contracts and documents we had done, then contracts are technical standards and regulations we had done. Technical standards and regulations and training and other costs, operation maintenance, standard. Staff and labor, I think health and safety, contract superintendents, plants, metals and workmanship, defects and rejection, remedial work, then ownership of plant and materials, all these. Okay, now commencement delays and suspension. This was where I was stuck in. commencement, delays and suspension. We will talk a lot at this point because this is very important point from contracting point. There is a lot on this, and again it's important, very important again because of various reasons. We cannot take it for granted, or we cannot think we understand this, because this is very much, you can say very much important. Cannot be taken like otherwise. Yeah, disturbing. Why disturbing? I'm not sitting to talk to you. Instance, यार पागल हो गए लोग यार, दिमाग खराब है इनका। बात खामा फोन करने लगे बिना मतलब फोन करते हैं, बिना बात पे फोन करते हैं। You don't know somebody is busy. You have to talk to these rubbish people. टेक्निकल बात करो उसके लिए सोचता है यार, वो सब बस फोन करने की शक्ल देखने यार। अगेन यार क्या करोगे इनका? I don't have a stone believe I'll shoot you. Idiotic countries, idiotic people, full of idiots. Get lost from here. I'm not sitting here for you. So contract is very heavyweight subject. We have to understand that. A very heavyweight subject in engineering. This point we should not forget. And those who do not realize this fact, I don't know how they manage their projects. Projects means their contract is involved, their contracting party is involved, their owners are involved. Because misled contract or misdrafted contract, abusive drafted contract, not connecting all clauses drafted contracts, those contracts which are superfluous clauses or deficient clauses, those contracts always are defeated in court of law or in arbitration. Contracts is not a child play, it's not a child's toy. This question is stock and reputation of all those who have left this country. When I say contract should be very strong, this means that there should be some commencement date, some completion date, how to avoid delays and how to avoid suspension. All these points must be very explicit. Very explicit they should be. And if there is a deficiency, there is a defect in that, that means that you shall have to face problems, both parties to contract, and that is employer and contractor. An engineer who was involved in that drafting also has to fear professional impact by that. And we should also understand that generally this system of contract is involved to implement projects. It has been like mandate that you use that. When these parameters are not absent or not clear, definitions are not clear, or misunderstood, certainly we invite problems. Otherwise, there should be no dispute on lump sum fixed price contract. Lump sum fixed price contract, because lump sum itself is, very great definition of contract. Lump sum means whatever you have to do, employer tells contractor whatever you have to do, and the contractor you have to read all this, whatever I told you, all this you have to read. When two parties have agreed for something, I don't understand what problem exists. Why? No problem. But problems do exist because of various reasons. And that's where I say commencement of works and time for completion. Time for completion relates to date of commencement, and because date of commencement is there, date of completion is there, and that difference of two means time of completion. When date of delivery you have fixed and date of entry you have fixed. Date of entry means when contractor can enter site. That date and when contractor can go out. When you see you have fixed date of commencement something, you have to commence. If you say that God will really disputes generally occur on lump sum contracts, though they should not occur. We say now go forward and let us see how can we trap with time for completion. Time for completion is very important part. Okay, date of commission is one part. There can be other issues. Date of commission means, date of commencement is started and you are supposed to hand over that area where work is to be done. You know that some when date of completion is defined, and also date of completion in defined batches or in varying dates, you can say. They say, okay, this part I want in this date, and that part of project I want in this date, and that part I want to do this. They define like this. That should also be made clear. That was to authorize this letter, that person and your relation 3 or 4 items contract date, and if you sign that, it's okay then, and there should be no dispute. And if you don't allow site to enter partly, so that's a problem. Then you have to agree that. Why don't you agree that? You're asking why don't you do that? All this is. Projections of contract. If you cannot do progress, why don't you do progress? That question arises because there is a schedule. You did that schedule. You have to provide resources. Only problem lies that resources are not provided. And if you are EPC contract, you have to provide design as well. And you, because you could not design, you could not design this everything you have done. Now if there will time completion, I say that's main dispute, and when time of completion is crossed, disputes further due to slow progress, due to design issues, or due to quality issues, or due to whatever issues, and at that time, what is the deviation? There's a clause that suspends or clause that doesn't recognize the deviation. Now we go further on to this. Time of completion is very complicated. In fact, we'll discuss later. There are so many problems on this. I cannot directly explain. Program. The program is very important here. It is related to date of completion. Program is very, very effective in understanding what is program actually. That point we must understand. It's not simply program. It's a program actually based on resources. So can't directly, I made a program, I go bar chart and that's so. No, that's not program. You cannot say master level 1 program or master program. No, that's not enough. That's just a part. Indicate time means only what program means. Says program should be workable, it should function. It should be complete detail, maybe level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level whatever you take into that. It should consider each part of that, and it should consider how your contract documents are related. Have you gone through specifications? Have you gone through timings? Have you gone through scope of work? Have you gone through everything? If you have not gone, you have not been able to submit it. So somebody, a person say, Army, I make that wrong. Program means you have to first go through whole project documentation. This is, first contract you have to read. Means don't think that contract is not related to program or schedule. You must know that. Then you have to know, in addition to that, you should know not only program but also other documents like general conditions, and before that special conditions or project particular conditions, general conditions, and what was it tender and what was the contract code, drawings and specifications. You I'm not saying go work by work just to know what is scope of work and this is something for our company, this is for the contractor. So program, once you understand your scheme, your documents, your mission, your scope of work, and size of project and dimensions of building and storage of buildings or coverage of buildings or other structures or machine foundations and all important machines which are there, and what about those machines, you have to go all through those electrical activities they perform. For that departure, somewhere else, you have to clearly either discuss it relevant engineer or scroll down. Programming is not that easy as you think. Quantification is required. Who will quantify? First point is quantification of your building you are going to propose or structure you are going to propose, whatever quantity it is, its RCC quantity, its blending quantity, earthwork quantity, or it is infrastructural quantity, block work quantity, structural steel quantity, whatever work you have to do those quantities. Quantification is very big job. You cannot depend upon quantification details provided by employer. Those can be misleading. And if quantities are misled or quantities are adopted wrongly, you certainly shall face losses. And quantity cannot be kept. again I would say is very very important subject, and if you cannot quantify correctly, you cannot plan in that case, because you have to grasp time, total time, and you have to provide mobilization period, and you also provide demobilization period, and they can say also testing and commission and pre-testing and commission. So already you block this course, then that's it. You cannot say how to complete that. You will squeeze your time. Maybe you can't expand that. You will require to expand that. After that, reinforcement and structural step. Reinforcement means you have to, you may say I take so many kilograms of physical. Well, this is side is done. Let's rewind this one. Let's just go through this programming and see how they're done. I'll later on tell this about this contents of these programs and time extension, completion, delayed costs by authorities, rate of progress, delayed damages, employer suspension rent, and you can say payment for plant and materials after employer suspension. And of course, we can select, prolonged suspension, resumption of works, and test on completion, and like that. These are very, very strong clauses actually. Test on completion itself is test for every item, every work done. We say commissioning, before commissioning, pre-commissioning, and pre-commissioning or tests on everything. Each and every work, each and every point, according to item requirement. These are delayed, why delayed? Retesting all these. And employer taking over like that. So what we say that? It's like this, it's not simple contract that we can stop at that and it's, oh no, we have done it. No, it's not that. Suspension is from both ends, so from both parties. It can be from employer or it can be from a contractor. Both have rights to act that way. Both have got legal powers so to do, because on contract both are equals. No one is junior and no one is senior. No one is inferior and no one is other one. That's beauty of contract. That is beautiful contract, you can say, but thinking is different. Beauty is contract, thinking is different. That's why people fall and people can't understand. That's way no say. That's what we say. We have to clearly understand. You have to clearly understand that contract is not one person, baby. It's for both persons. Both persons are responsible for that. They have to understand in mature way. You should not think that somebody is the other one or somebody is more powerful than other one. That's not case in contracting. You have to pay and I have to work. That's all. What else is relation? No relation. Even if it's an EPC or it may be, red book, construction, contract, or maybe consultancy, white book, or mechanical design and build, can say your yellow or whatever contract, sequence and philosophy behind that is only this. Not more than that. You have to be paid and you are receiving this payment and do it, that's all. What else? You think there's something else? Well, I don't think so. There's something else. This is only requirement. And until we do not realize this fact, contracts will fail, intention of contract will be bad, and of course this intention is operated by those who have got contracts, because they don't want to pay in beginning, they don't agree on good rate. It's okay, you price the iron for me. We'll look later on, means we'll make some adjustments, and that's called corruption. Be clear in beginning, because this is lump sum contract and Their conditions of contract are very strong, very clear, not implicit, explicit. There's no way that I can move me and there's no way I can move you. You have to stand on that track. We can't cross each other. A contract means you're moving on the same track. My wheel cannot strike your wheel. I can't break your end. You can't break my end. That's policy. It's fine. Otherwise, you have some mindset which is different. Your designs are dangerous. Your mental set. You say we'll adjust you. If contract accept that, means contract is also involved. When it says mutual level corruption. While as far as contract is concerned, I don't think there's any room left. The delay can get more money or you don't give design. That's the reason is APC is one way better if you are responsible for design and procurement. But even then, people create rooms for mishappenings. That's very very bad. Suspension or delays both are harmful. It's harmful because if there is delay and you justify delay or don't justify delay, why there is delay? The question is that. What is reason for that? Means this is not an analytical question, it's a question justification is required. That requires justification. How can you say you should grant the extension when it did not work? And you give excuses for something which is not relevant. Means here both parties should be genuine. If they really want to get that contract done, if they want to play only at cost of public, that's different. But ultimately, it's public that suffers, whether it's private party or not. Consumer is there, public is there, and if you delay contract means the contract cost is increased, and there's arbitration, disputes, and somebody has to pay someone. Means cost is ultimately affected, consumer is affected, citizen is affected. So that's the reason that so many clauses have been developed. Otherwise, there was no any clause. Okay, honesty is best policy. You do this a word of mouth and word of promise, and I do that. That time has gone. That's not existing. Even on these documents, there is disputes, and these disputes are such a they adopt such wide scale which they should not, but they are what it means. Oh, laws are coming to picture and legislations and this and that. In that case, SC decided. In that case, High Court decided. This unnecessary completions move on. Like this is a contract. I agree. I will pay you. You agree to work for me. Do it. And that's all. I want to help public. I want to have my nation. Rather than this. And when international management comes in, international contract comes in, markets comes in, it goes further and further. So ultimately, who suffers? Public suffers. Engineer suffers. Because the engineer is bound to decide something where he's supposed to do other work, but he has unnecessarily forced to do something. Arbitration or before that, this DAP also disputes adjuncts avoidance board, and before that engineer means rather than spending time on supervision or on research of work or on something else, they have to spend time on involving in decisions for futile activities. That point you have to understand very well. If this happens, means something wrong. Some ways we have to be very very plain on that. That thing should not be permitted. But it's neither in my hand and not in your hand. People are people, and there's no way out of that. There's no out of that, and and this is somebody sending message. I don't know. I have sent thanks to them. They are still sending messages. Let them send. I can't help it. So what I say that. Why I am stressing about contracts, that contracts ultimately is only an answer to project. If you don't do contract, I am not finding engineers having any capacity to do works themselves, to carry out projects themselves, because they have specialized themselves in different subjects and different fields. like design engineer I am, construction engineer I am, planning engineer I am, quality engineer I am. Is in fact, engineer has been, you know, it has been fractioned into many spheres, and they are actually fit nowhere. Ultimately, project is not delivered. Even if it is designed well, it's not worked well. If it's not worked well, means quality is not achieved. If quality is not, then material is not standard one. And if material is not standard, there's a dispute on that. That, honest, or can say sincere ego, sincere requirement that should be actually is not working. Contract is a document that is very clear, should be clear. Clear scope of work is defined, should be defined. Division of responsibility must be defined, which I'm not finding on many contracts. I've seen international contracts. I have to some extent, contentment. I feel that something is, whatever big contract is, means clear definition is there. There's a contract as well as a list as well. There may be 500 items, 1,000 items. This is my responsibility. Just put the tick or not tick. Put the matrix on that, row and columns. That is your, this A contractor, A party, B party, C party, D party, E party. Even multiple parties are there. Division there. Division of responsibility. Write clearly. No item should be left in that. Even payment times must be clearly given. What time is required to payment? No question of reasonable time, fixed time, and prove that you have money for that contract. That's another point. Sometimes you don't have money, you devise contract and you start work, but who suffers? Contractor suffers. That point must all be gained. It's good that in fatigue these points come, that you have to prove you have fundings for that project, so that you cannot later stage say, I have no money to pay. That should not happen. That's where we stand. Ultimately, contract is not your slave, and you are not master as employer. Both are on equal footing, equal level. And only relation is that you are asking me to work, and you are promising me you will pay me consideration, and I am working for you. I am delivering your requirements, and I am expecting you pay me in time, and I deliver you that project. So that project is well defined, means I hand over to you that project, so the project becomes ended, it stands ended, and you operate this or don't operate this, you use it or sell it, that's your headache, your baby. My baby was that I had to close this project, means project status is over. People try to understand project is temporary. Every project is temporary. It has to die one day. It's given birth on date of completion. It can never, not everlasting. It's just fixed term, and that's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 1.5 year, 6 months, whatever it is. On that day it has to end. If it doesn't end, that's a great difficulty. There is a life for project. After that, that changes to operation unit or whatever. It continues there for whatever period. A facility that's a certain, you can say, petrochemical facility, whichever it is, main facility or subsidy where bypass use, there is a direct that this is for 5 years. It's a maybe a grain project or a brown project. This has to finish in that. After that, we close this project, means we clearly can say project is performed, and when project is performed, it should be discharged, and it's discharged except warranted items or except certain liabilities. It is discharged, and that's it. After that, I go home, you take care of that. It's your baby now. It's no more project. Project is over. I am running out. I am leaving your site. Your responsibility. Operate it, use it, or don't use it. It's up to you. Don't raise claims against me, because I have done my duty. You have taken over this. You have said, okay, you are discharged. So my bank is free. I am free from this liability. And if you say no, contract is over. Sorry, gentlemen, I can't help you. If you want something else, you have to extend that contract, otherwise I'm not, or you have to give me another contract. Only then I can do something. Either if this is discharge, I won't allow you to extend this also. If before discharge you agree anything, okay, fine, you agree something, I'm ready for that. And that's also within limitations. It's not that everlasting is I stand you for 10 more, it's not at all. Because you have to operate this for 50 years, 30 years, 40 years, that's your baby. Every client is generally initially this for 30 years according to normal conditions. Since a facility which works in, which is produced, means delivered is generally it's for 30 years, but by maintenance and I don't know, may increase to depending on lives of machines or equipment on that project, whatever machines are. The machines have certain life. If machines do not work, then there is no meaning of running that operation. That operator cannot run that. Or will change machine immediately so that you want to rerun it. That's the only way. So you can uplift it. In that case, you have to be ready in that when you have to get this machine this time. Don't wait for destabilization of machine, destruction of machine, or replace it. And for that you must have some arrangement to shut down some parallel line. So it should keep on moving. Your operation keeps on moving, but they may shut down once, so you can replace that one, come to a voice, and so that machine is replaced, equipment is replaced. Whatever is there difficulty, you can do that. Of course, the spares are given a time of handing over. There's a condition every contract where you have to do 25% spares, and those spares can help you for a certain period. And if the spares don't help, there's no other way. Spares won't be available time because machine is 30 years or 40 years old, and you can't get spares of machine. So design is changed. You have to replace that machine, and that replacement condition exists on your initial contract. That's okay, fine. You need not close that. So upgrade that one for another 10 years, another 20 years. So it goes on moving. Even after that, you cannot do it because every machine can't be replaced. That's also true. Means to some extent only you can replace machines, which is replaceable. But in that case, that machine has should some same parameters so the foundations are not rebuilt, not to be rebuilt, or not to be re-strengthened. There are so many factors out there. It's not simply one that I can say. So what I'm saying is this contract of construction, contract of design, that's very beautiful that we have that one. There is no way that we can move otherwise. So we have to really understand how can we move on contracts being engineers, and it's not simply engineers, it affects life of public and life of nation, and maybe project is, you can say, economically oriented. And when it's economically oriented means if you don't do it in time, other party may raise claims on my economy, I cannot do that, and that can be a dangerous situation for someone. Means damages, basically delay damages, you understand the point where this page says clause 8.8 delay damages. What is that? Understand that? That's a very important point, which engineers should in the beginning understand that. Delay damages, why damages are required, why should we give them? There's a contract status which says that if this contractor does not do this work is not delivered, there is a daily damage, daily everyday damage is this, and there's a accumulative damage is this, and there's a maximum on this percentage wise, this is this much percentage of cost of contract. That's all. It's generally well defined. Means it's well defined in civil contracts, surface contracts, and also in mechanical contracts it's well defined. Generally, civil items 10% maximum on the cost of that one. So every day this amount is calculated, but that calculation means a limit is fixed, capitulation that 10%. I think in mechanical it may be 15%. I heard, I don't see that when I go through mechanical fitting, I will see that much there. One is saying that LD is fixed, or LD we call it liquidated damages. Previously it was used to be called in context of penalties. Later penalty was objected and was removed because penalties comes criminal action, and this is not criminal action. So now LD is real term, liquidated damages, but it's very difficult to apply liquid damage. Operation of liquid damage is very difficult. It means you have to warn contractor first, resume warnings many times, alerts many times, we are going to operate this. But even after application, our application of clause of liquidated damages, you cannot fully operate that clause, reason being that in case contractor recovers that lost time, then you have to pay back that money you recovered without interest, of course. So if you think that contract is not going to, is delaying by weeks, means I think the possibility of That contract can regain its lost time recovered due to over deployment of resources or some other reasons, whatever possible solution for that. Or investment, bringing more investment that, bringing more higher standard people to work there. Whatever way it is possible, can't even recover time, lost time, which you can say that okay fine, you have no right to recover because if you write to contract, you operate a clause on you, and that person answer I'm working day and night shift and I work in two shifts or so on. You can't refuse that also. What I mean to say is a total empirical, circumstantial studies one has to conduct on project and who is dedicatedly present there on project that is to understand facts and read these contract documents first. That's because you can claim you can recover only when you think that this contractor is not now alertful, this contractor is not useful, he forgets everything. He does not respect time. That point you get. That's based on that point of view. And that's very, very practical aspect, practical point I'm telling you. It should be covered that way. And if you can understand that point, it's nice. Means you try to follow what I'm saying, and I think that what I'm saying is that's very important point I'm telling you because this class engineers fear to operate. I have not seen this class being operated by engineers. Even I have seen people from British and from others. They are strong enough to apply this clause and they don't worry about that because they stick to rules, they stick to your regulations of contract established under contract. But our people, because they themselves probably are involved in those damages, our mostly I understand mentality of our public that they themselves are somewhere involved in those delays, indirectly I can say co-partner of contractors illegally or unofficially. So they have no courage at all. Otherwise, what's the problem? Give notice, use 28 days, okay, and within 28 days itself, you just write another reminder. Tell your progress is no indicatively, is no indication you are going to improve your progress. And if you can indicate this recovery program, if contracts are given recovery program itself without even demanding that. Okay, sir, I'm not sorry, I'm delayed, I'm giving recovery program. And this is my recovery, and this doesn't cost anything. Just you have to revise that program, adding some, I will look 10 hours a day or 12, my people are 12 hours a day, I'm getting 100, 200, 500 people more, I'm getting more machines, more input, I'm hiring some contractor. And it means that's the only way what I have to say. I want to give double shift to you, please allow double shift and deploy your engineers or double shifts I can take watch on. I want inspection at night, or I'll arrange for food for engineers. There can be so many solutions, but because you don't want to use additional budget for your project, in case certainly you will spend more money and you need more money and you have to spend for refreshment, for this and that, for that. It costs even every unit of currency costs and project because everything is budgeted well. Everything is in budget. Every expense that goes in budget. You cannot say your chartered accountant, your accountant auditor less, but whatever it is, means you lost time, just lost. Time lost doesn't mean nothing lost, but time includes money as well. And on top of that, reputation, your reputation also lost. That's why I say, whenever you think that your agent tells you there's some problem, then your employer, or your contracting employer, should listen to that. Because sometimes what happens, site engineers or project managers or whoever are responsible, they keep informing, but there's no one to listen. Sometimes don't even read what someone's writing. They just file it. They want to talk to you only. Yes, without talking, they can't understand anything. There are such people I have seen that they do businesses, but they can't even know what is meaning of government. That's what I say is very important from this point of view and that point of view, and we like to now move on to to know, because time is running out for this. I would like to close it meanwhile, because already 2 hours are nearing this one and 3 hours I spent on last one approximately. And in this 2 hours I talked something on soil report and something on this. So that we connect previous discussions, and because of this I thought I to fraction this 5 hours into 302, so that we move on to this as well as of this. Simply I don't want to read clauses, I will explain them, and that's more important. You can read, reading is no problem. I'm sharing a document with you, reading a module, problem explanation, and that's purpose that I'm sharing screen, particularly for documents. If continued in one video, fine, but I tried, I could not do that. Previously it was working that we were together in, I will say, in same video document. We said, now this system, I think they change this system, this Facebook. I don't know if new was that, but well, no problem. We can work on to separately. We can talk and document share, very important one. So I now close this one. Thank you very much, and this is enough for